Well, good evening, folks. Dave Jorgensen here once again. Share a little story, illustrate what happens sometimes in life, and you have to learn how to deal with it. This little story starts out, push those things in. It starts out in when I was driving a log truck back in the 80s. I was hauling up around Mount Rainier. And it was winter time, and we were staying in Spanaway up there near Tacoma. Anyway, we were hauling out of the mountains up there by Mount Rainier. Just beautiful. We'd come down into Eatonville and then, go to the different mills that we were hauling to. Well, we kept our trucks away from home so they didn't get tinkered on every night by the mechanics unless we had something major. Well, wouldn't you know it, but my heater went out. I could not get any defrost to my windshields. If you've ever driven in wintry weather, in snow, without defrosters, you know what I'm talking about. And you got a load of logs behind you and you're trying to drive along and your windshield just ices up. You can't wipe it off with the wipers. You got to stop every now and then and go out and scrape the ice off. That is not what I call fun. What I call fun is staying inside the cab where it's warm. Out there trying to scrape the ice off the windshield of your truck every few minutes. And that's basically what you have to do, it all but shuts you down, and you don't want to run that way more than one day. You don't even want to run that way one day. But anyway, that's what happened this one day, man. I was just fighting it. Plus, that's you're cold. You can't get back in your cab and get warm because there's no heat. That's why everything's cold in the truck. So there's no heat going out to help warm up the windshield. And you can bet your boots that my truck went back down to the shop in Woodland the next day. Well, that evening I took it down, went home for the night instead of staying up there all week. But no, you can't haul logs in the winter with no heat. If you had a way to keep your windshield, you had your windshield wired to keep it clean, then it's you could manage. You just wear your gloves all day long and your coat all day long and freeze to death. Thaw out your toes in the evening. But anyway, I just wanted to share that little story because, no matter what you do in life, either weather, circumstances, or breakdowns, or something happens. I remember when the mill used to break down, they'd send us home. So that cut our paycheck short. They didn't do that very often, but every now and then something would break down and it was going to take, a whole day to fix it. There's no sense in paying everybody to stand around there and go home a few minutes after they start working. So anyway, it was just one of those circumstances that was very, very frustrating. I couldn't wait for that day to get over. Not only that, it's dangerous because you're trying to drive as long as you can without thawing out that windshield again. And it don't take long to get cold again and ice over. A little bit of rain and snowy stuff mixed. Just was not fun. So anyway, here where I'm at in the super affiliate network, things go wrong. Sometimes you set something up wrong. One time I set up my traffic campaign wrong and something was haywire in it. So I paid for this traffic and I didn't get any benefits out of it because it wasn't recording them. It recorded, how many people opened, but it didn't record any of the clicks that gave me leads. Now, if you don't think that's frustrating, pay out money and not get anything for it. At least even if you don't get a sale, you usually get the leads to follow up with. and they say that's where the profit is. But even the tech, you run into technicalities every now and then. In the evening time, even though I've got cable, I lose my signal. And it's not very fun. The other day I did a Facebook Live, and I don't know what was going on, but you could hear my voice fairly well, but you couldn't see me very well. I looked kind of funny, all kind of fuzzy and stuff. So I had to do the whole thing over. But anyway, you got to learn to run with life, because we live in an old, wicked world. And what's going to go wrong? If anything go wrong, it'll go wrong. And you really get tested sometimes. And especially when you're anxious to get going and do it. I'm not known for being a patient person. No, sirree. I'm anything but patient. I try to be patient with my wife and everybody, but, when I was younger, I didn't do that even. But anyway, roll with the punches. It's not the end of the world just because you have a difficulty. Sometimes it just feels like you wish it was the end of the world, but it's not. Anyway, that's it for today, folks, and I hope you got a little bit of value out of that. But we just have, we live in a life of difficult times. Even when you're making good money, you run into difficulties. Money doesn't buy no trouble. As sometimes it buys trouble. But anyway, that's another whole other subject, and we'll just talk about that another time. But anyway, good night for tonight, and see you tomorrow.